Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Javier in the Air. I've been trying to keep track of the audio that I have here for the opening bit because I've gotten some requests before about what it is. This opening is called Parachute. Again, the music I get is royalty free from my Wondershare Filmora editing program. So if you're interested in getting more information, let me know. More information about the music, and I can see what I can do. But the name of this one opening bit was Parachute. So welcome back to everyone. It's been a week. I hope you've been well rested, or I hope you've gotten some good work done. And this week it's going to be another short one. Actually, last week turned out not to be a short one, but I guarantee you this one is going to be a short one. All I really have this week is a little bit about the brunch that I did yesterday. So I got some video and some moments there. And then I have a Zen moment, possibly an old man rant, and a cocktail that I actually made that doesn't have all the ingredients, but and it's not what you think it is, but I'm gonna do it anyway because why not do something different, right? Okay, so that's gonna be for our spirit times. So let's get right into it. So yesterday was a brunch. I think I mentioned it last week, and the brunch is something that we've been doing, except for I think 2 years ago when we were all in major lockdown. It's the only year we haven't done it. We've done it like for almost 5 years now, I want to say, where we had a brunch and we had some people over. And I say we because I'm including myself and the neighbors, James and Zaida. They have a friend named Susan who comes in town from Florida about this time every year, more or less, and we have a brunch for her. So we do some great cooking and baking. This year, you'll see what my contribution was. We had a great time. Some people came and some people left, and my patio is pretty much well covered through about 11 a.m. as far as shade goes, and then it's covered back. It's back to being covered about 4 o'clock on. So about 11:30 to about 4 o'clock, there is one section that is still covered by shade, but the rest of it is just out in the elements. And yesterday was stinking hot day. I think the real feel was 103, and it actually reached 99 degrees. So today wasn't much cooler, but I was mostly inside, so it was a little bit nicer to me. Anyway, so let's get to the brunch, and then we'll just go from there and see what we get. So here's the brunch of 2022. Let's see what we got. Okay, so prior to the party, so this is Friday evening after I got home from work, and I washed down all the chairs and I washed down the footrest, and you can see in the background I had some rocks laid out, river rock, like I said, hemming in the grass that I got, which, by the way, that grass is growing fantastic. It looks awesome. And then this is the other side of the patio. So I had just washed down everything, like I said. There's one of the chairs. There's some of my older chairs and a couple of tables that I have out there. One of them is beginning to fall apart, but the glass one is looking pretty good. And then you can see my garden in the background. So it turns out everything's looking really good, ready for the party. Okay, and then this is, I believe this is actually later on in the same evening, trying to get everything laid out. And you can see there's still a bunch of junk out there. Thanks to James and Julia for helping me get all that squared away. And then what I wound up doing is mowing even down that nice grass because it was really high. So I want to try to keep it as high as possible, but you never know. So here's another shot of I believe this is actually in the morning where I'm trying to get everything squared away. Actually, no, it's the evening because you can see the black tarp down there. I just hadn't put out the rocks yet, so later on I was putting out the river rocks. So it turned out really good. Here we go. First brunch of 2022. These are green glazed red velvet donuts, homemade, that I made. Um, the green glaze is basically cream cheese and powdered sugar, but I also added some sour cherry liqueur to it. Turkey bacon, and these are called bacon egg clouds. They're egg whites that are baked, and then you put the yolk on top and you bake it a little bit more. So here's the deck. I got fans going because it's going to be a hot one today, and in about an hour and a half or so it's going to be just Bake City. So, but here we go. So there you have it. So what you didn't get to see were the people that were there. I wasn't sure if everybody was cool with me either snapping photos or doing videos, so I didn't have video with them or pictures with them. But it turned out really nice. If you saw a cooler there by the small wooden top table, that's where we would be. That's where the drinks were. So we were having mimosas and we were having Bloody Marys. I myself don't drink Bloody Marys, but from my understanding, they turned out fantastic. And of course, mimosas, you can never go wrong, as long as you don't do just like a drip of orange juice and then the rest champagne. You know who you are. So it turned out really great. The If you'd like to know the recipe for the red velvet donuts, just let me know. I pulled it off the net. I did get some silicone donut molds, which I showed last in season 2. And so I've been trying my best every time I do something to make the donuts. I bought the silicone molds. I should use the silicone molds. So that's what I did. So what I did for the glaze, which is I actually did. I think I mentioned that I dyed it green just because it was for fun. But the glaze was mostly cream cheese, powdered sugar, butter, and I actually added some sour cherry liqueur that I had left. It was just a little bit left in the glass, and I thought it would be great to put it in there, so I did. So that turned out really good. And like I said, we had a great time, and the patio came out looking fantastic. Thanks again to everyone who helped me, James and Julia Takashita. And thanks for letting me borrow your weed eater, James, neighbor James. I didn't get to use it as much as I wanted, but I used what I thought would be presentable for the brunch, and it turned out great. So that was the brunch 2022 as far as neighbor James and Zada and Susan. I'm going to try to get another brunch going here. Maybe, let's see, we're already into the end of the first week of May, so maybe not to the end of May, early June. I know it's going to be stinking hot, so I'd like to really use my patio, and I'd like to try to get people to come over for a brunch, but I know it gets stinking hot fairly early, especially in the back, especially when it's not covered. So until I can get a cover, I'm still going to try to do a brunch maybe earlier than 10 o'clock. I know some people are like, well, that's just breakfast. And well, then we'll call it breakfast. Or I might try to have an evening drinking tasting like I had in the past, and we just do it out on the patio, and we start at like 7 p.m. So I have plenty of lights that can be turned on and used so that the outside deck will be nice. I'm sure I can get some anti-mosquito stuff, because we are it would be into end of May, early June, and mosquitoes were already out in full force last week at night, so I'm sure that would be the case now. So anyway, we'll take a look, and we'll see in the next couple of weeks. For those of you who were keen enough to see the garden's going great. I think I have 3 of the 4 types of watermelon actually growing. 2 of them are actually in a good vining process, so I'll be able to then move it around. The grapevine is growing like gangbusters. I see the structures. I think we talked about it last week, and it's doing nothing but growing. I'm going to have to do some pruning again because I think I have too many leaves, and so the more leaves you have, I think I mentioned, the less grapes you're going to get, or the longer you're going to take to get the grapes. And then the loofah. On the other bed, I have some vanilla loofah that's growing, and that vine is beginning to really take off as well. So what I need to do this week is I need to build a lattice work that I already have in mind, and I already have the pieces. I need to put up a lattice work so that it will continue to grow, because it needs to grow on a vine. I'm sorry, it needs to grow on a lattice, not let it vine on the ground like it does for watermelons. And then in there, I currently have 3 shoots for carrots, and one of them is actually already about, let me pull back, about that big, that high. But like I've told you before, you have to let it get really high for carrots for them to be a good amount of carrot underneath. It's not like that a proportionate thing like you do with trees. So, you could have a majorly high stalks for your carrot and you're all excited, and then your carrot's like Newbin, and so you don't want to have a Newbin. So I will let it just grow for as long as I can until I actually see it start to wilt or something. I will try my best to let it grow. So we'll see what's happening in the next couple weeks. Okay, so let's have a little negativity before we get into the positivity. So why don't we have an old man rant? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Time for another old man rant. Hey everybody, welcome to another old man rant. I don't have my hat today, so I have to try to keep my face furrowed. So I have been commuting for 3 weeks now, and it's been going well. However, I'd like to talk to the people that don't know how to drive. Simple enough, huh? Well, there's some people out there that feel like that they have to get home before us being everybody else. So they don't allow people to merge, and they don't allow people to get over, and they force people to either get off on an exit they don't want, and or hang out in the no drive zone and hang out and keep forcing themselves until they force almost an accident, or they're forcing you, the individual that didn't want to let them in the first place, to get into the lane. So, and I'm talking to everyone. It's not just the non-Texans. Texans do it too. I know they do. So don't act like you don't. So let's learn how to drive better, because we have these fools out there that are letting everybody not in and forcing them to do something stupid. And because you're forcing them to do stupid because you won't let them in, then they cause slowdowns, or unfortunately they may cause an accident. So how about we stop doing that? And how about we give some people some room? See, another reason why everybody is so angry, because you try to drive, some people are trying to drive correctly and give themselves a little space before the person in front of them, so that in case something happens and the person in front of you slams on the brakes, you can slam on your brakes and you won't be into the other guy's rear end. Unfortunately, and I'm sure this happens everywhere, but I'm just talking Austin right now. For those of you who try to give a car length or more, or even a half car length in this traffic commuting days, you have people just jamming in there. So you almost don't want to give that space, because all that does is wind up causing a slowdown behind you, or causing you to slow down. So then your defense mechanism is to stay on the person in front of you's behind. So that way you don't have this person trying to cut in and causing you to slow down. I caught myself doing it once, and I had to give myself a reprimand, and then I slowed down, but then everybody else got in there. So, and they caused another slowdown. So I don't appreciate that. So be warned, you people out there, Texans and non-Texans alike, learn how to drive before you get into an accident. That's my old man rant. Thanks a lot. Okay, that was an old man rant, and I have to admit that my mother is not a fan of the old man rant. But until all these injustices have been solved, I probably will still be doing the old man rant. So there you have it. Okay, so let's lighten up the mood a little bit and let's have our Zen moment. I've been gotten some good feedback. I appreciate it. Oh, by the way, quick tangent to start the positivity off right. I want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. I hope all you mothers are getting great gifts and great food and great gifts of food and great everything. And I hope you're taking your special day off and being lazy. And I know it's evening already, so I hope you had a good one. So let's go into our Zen moment. So there we go. So a little background piece. So it may or may not be positive. Well, it's probably positive. So we had to go. We being my company and I, the people that were in at the office at the that morning. This was, I want to say, Tuesday morning. Yeah, Tuesday morning, and the fire alarm went off, and so we went out and over to, this is I believe this is the Cathedral of St. Mary's, and or I think they call it Cathedral of St. Mary's. I call it St. Mary's Cathedral. Either way, built in, I think it is marked down as 1852, and it's a beautiful architecture. I've never been opposed to church religious architecture, temples and mosques and churches and all that. They do some beautiful architecture. So wanted to show off that, and then want to show a little bit of downtown. This was at about I kid you not, probably about 8:50 in the morning, and you could see how lull it was. You couldn't hear anything because I muted it, but it was really quiet. Very few people there because it's a Tuesday morning, 8:50 in the morning. So it was really peaceful and tranquil, even though we were out there because of a fire alarm. But anyway, it turned out really nice. So let's. That was. I hope you enjoyed it. I probably will be bringing you more Zen moments of downtown Austin while I continue to commute down there. So let's. Why don't we have our spirit time, and then I'll wrap things up. Hey everybody, welcome to Javier in the Air, and Javier in the Air presents another edition of Spirit Time. Yeah. Okay, so welcome to this crazy edition of Spirit Time. So I was trying to think. I actually went to the boutique this morning, this afternoon, and picked up a crazy shirt that's awesome that Scott put together. Maybe I'll have that on next week. Fantastic! It was to celebrate the celebrate the 4th of May, or May the 4th be with you, depending on if you know what I'm talking about. And so I picked up some bottle caps and I picked up some beer, but I wanted to do something a little bit different today. And while I was coming upstairs to my studio to film today's episode, I was like, well, you know what? I have some tea. I made sun tea again. For those of you who are viewers, longtime viewers of the show, you know that I love to make sun tea. And so this time I put in packets of tea. Filled it with nice filtered water, and I put in some orange mint, that Farmer James and Farmer Zyder were growing, and so I grabbed some orange mint and muddled it a little bit, added it into the jar, and then I also added a turmeric tea, just one small bag that I put in there that I like to put in. So I got the tea going. So I made the tea for me this afternoon as I was heading up to the studio to record. And I was like, why don't I I need to do something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing beer for the next couple of weeks probably. I have the beer, so I may do a tasting with Brother Rob and have 3 or 4 beers presented. So shake things up a little bit. So I was like, okay, so well, why don't I just do a little something? And so I went and added some 151 rum, and I added it to my tea. And I'm drinking a Javier's Long Island iced tea. Now, for those of you who don't know, and I'm looking at my computer here, a standard iced tea doesn't really have any tea in it. What it has is a half fluid ounce of vodka, half fluid ounce of rum, half fluid ounce of gin. For those of you who may not like gin, you can also substitute sloe gin for that, which is a little bit better. They use sloe berries instead of juniper. Half fluid ounce of tequila, half fluid ounce of triple sec, which is an orange flavored liqueur, a 1 ounce of sweet and sour mix, which I never use anymore, but you can do it, and 1 fluid ounce of Coke to taste. I don't drink Coke anymore, so I don't use the Coke either. That's why I thought it'd be great to have use the real tea. And then a lemon slice for garnish if you have it. So you mix all that together and you wind up pouring it into a Collins. For those of you who know what a Collins glass is, a Collins glass or a Hurricane glass. And then you could also top again with Coke if you want. If you do Sprite instead of Coke for all this, it pretty much becomes electric lemonade. For those of you who still have your bartender books out there. So anyway, here it is in my glass. I got the tea, I got the rum in there. I'm calling this Javier's Long Island iced tea, but it should be a Low Island iced tea, maybe a Padre Island iced tea. That's good. Um, I can't really give it a grade because it is my own making and the rum is not by itself, but I like it. So if you ever come to out on the patio and be interviewed by me, then I'll be sure and make you some. So let's get back to regular podcast, Hav, and let's wrap this thing up. Thanks a lot, everybody. Hey, everybody. So that's it for this week's Javier in the Air. I'm sorry I had some audio going on in the background. So that's it for Javier in the Air for this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. We are always, we being myself, always on the lookout for finding a mom and pop store that would like to be interviewed. You can come out and be on the patio with me, and we'll interview and talk a little bit about your business. If you're interested, if you're a business, mom and pop business that is not local, I'd love to have you on the show anyway, so we can have a Zoom meeting and we can talk over Zoom. We could just set something up. So if you're a fan of the show, or you're a fan and you know someone who would love to be on the show or might be interested in being on the show, have them reach out to me. So I'd like them to reach out to me because I've had a lot of times where I've reached out to individuals because somebody told me about them and then they're not interested. So I'd rather hear from them first, so that I know that there's interest there. So I hope everybody has been enjoying it. If you'd like to see something on the show that you haven't yet, be sure and let me know, and I'll get it on the show, or I'll do my best to get it on the show. I'm still looking to have a co-host for 1 or 2 episodes. We'll talk about just about anything that your heart's desire. No religion, no politics. And so, once again, I hope everybody had a good Mother's Day for those of you that are mothers. And so I hope you have a good rest of the evening. I will be on again next week. I am trying my best to get more people, interviewees, because I know I have better response that way. So don't give up on me. I will continue to do this show for as long as I can, and I hope I can get more people on, and we'll see how that goes. So I hope everybody has a good rest of the week, and I'll see you next time. Have a good evening.